Today we managed to see the Cedars of God, the Khalil Gibran Museum, and the Kadisha Grotto, all of which are located in northern Lebanon near the town of Bsharri.
Before we go further, please like and subscribe to our channel down below. On our way, we made a brief stop to the birthplace of perhaps the most venerated of all the Lebanese saints, Saint Charbel. Charbel Makhlouf hailed from a religious family, and he dedicated his life to his beliefs, exercising them through his hermetic existence. After his studies were complete, the saint is said to have lived his final 23 years in almost complete solitude. Yet both during his time on earth and after, it is said that Saint Charbel performed miracles, which included healing a partially paralyzed woman through 2 puncture wounds in her neck, which gave her the ability to walk once again. His hometown of Kafra, possibly the highest village in Lebanon, continues to celebrate his spirit. You are as close to the heavens in this place where the earth and the skies meet. The clouds kiss the mountains in which he was also baptized. Next, we left Saint Charbel's village for another brief stop at the Qadisha Valley and Grotto. Extending roughly 700 meters into the mountains, the small grotto displays exquisite limestone formations. While it isn't quite as supreme of a natural wonder as the world-famous Kadisha Grotto near Beirut, it's worth the visit if you're near the Cedars of God or the Gibran Museum.
After the Kadisha Grotto, we headed for the Cedars of God, a site so important to Lebanon's historical and cultural heritage that it inspired the country's flag. The ancient accounts of the Lebanese cedars seem to indicate they're referring to the ones here in Bsharri. But I'm sure you're wondering, what exactly makes these trees so special? The Phoenicians, who were the first to establish trading routes via the sea and master shipbuilding, used this evergreen timber. But they were hardly the only ones in the region to covet the cedar. The Israelites, Egyptians, Assyrians, Babylonians, Persians, Romans, and Turks all sought Lebanese cedar. The Egyptians used it for shipbuilding and construction, and the Ottoman Empire even used it to construct railways. In addition to construction, the Egyptians also used cedar resin for the mummification process and the wood itself for some of their first hieroglyphic-bearing papyrus rolls. In the Bible, King Solomon procured Lebanese cedar to build the temple in Jerusalem. In fact, Lebanese cedar is mentioned 103 times in the Bible.
We left the Cedars of God UNESCO World Heritage Site and promptly arrived at the Khalil Gibran Museum. This biographical museum in Bsharri is dedicated to the Lebanese writer, philosopher, and artist Khalil Gibran. His best-known work is The Prophet, which is still the top-selling poetry book of all time. We will also provide a link to The Prophet in the description below.
While the poet was still in New York, he prepared to purchase the hermitage, the monastery, and the adjacent forest to make it his final resting place. The Gibran Museum possesses 440 original paintings and drawings of Gibran and his tomb. You get the sense by the end of the exhibits that this was a man who completed his mission. If you enjoyed this virtual tour of the Cedars of God, the Gibran Museum, and our other stops, like this video and subscribe to our channel.